The teacher who probably inspired me the most was my first German teacher in high school.
To identify the teacher that inspired me the most is difficult.
My first grade teacher, Mrs. Mantini, was a great one to kind of start bringing in education to me and understanding that it can be fun to learn.
She was a new teacher to the school, and what impressed me wasn't so much the content, but was her passion for teaching and her enthusiasm.
My dad was one of the teachers that inspired me the most.
So I said, I want to be like that. I want to be like Joe. I want to be like Bill. I got to see her techniques of teaching, but mostly the way she related to students. It was incredible. She would set aside all this time for students, and if we were working in her office together and a student came by, everything stopped and the student sat down, and I was kind of wanting to get on with my agenda, and she would chat with that student and personalize her relationship with that student.
It wasn't one teacher, so it's hard for me to pick out one, although I'm going to pick out one. I guess my point is there were lots of them.
He just created such a wonderful learning community in the class. He would greet every student at the door, shake their hand before they walked in, ask them how their day was in Spanish, and invite us in that way. And I think that set this really great tone. And just kind of throughout the entire class, he was very attentive to caring for the students' development in the class. And I noticed that right away.
My dad had a workshop, and he would let us come down into the workshop to help him. And I can remember when I got to learn how to use the electric sander and the power sander. And I had watched him lots of times, but just watching him obviously wasn't going to help me know how to do it. But I do remember when I first put that block of wood on the sander that I still can imagine his hands over mine. So he was providing safety that I didn't even know I needed.
So the teacher that inspired me the most would have been my academic advisor in mathematics, which wasn't even my major. At first it was just my minor. But he was so warm and informal at the same time and really fostered good conversation.
And she inspired me because she was a different kind of woman than I had ever seen before. She was highly motivated and excited and challenged how I viewed gender.
She enriched my life by taking me beyond the classroom.
I think one of the things that he opened up a whole new world for me in terms of understanding communication in ways I hadn't before. Did a lot with stories, and he often had interesting stories that would really get me thinking. And so kind of the way that he gave me new perspectives I hadn't had before, and really some rich insights was an inspiration for me.
Whatever his name is, I appreciate him.
She really helped me kind of grasp what it means to learn, and it's not just a race to learn facts and to memorize and regurgitate, which sometimes happens in classes, but to retain information and apply them to just everyday use within the world, whatever it is.
She was able to take a class and bring it higher, bring our understanding of the material to a higher point, and she just really pushed us without making us feel overwhelmed. And then there was moments where we had to leap ourselves, where she would challenge us with problems, and that we had to take that leap ourselves. But it was close enough because of the way that she had taught that we were able to make those leaps and feel really good about ourselves.
I think the teacher that inspired me the most was maybe all the way back in high school, my chemistry teacher, and sort of the personal attention that she gave to each of the students, and just a lot of inspiration and fun that came out of that class has sort of projected me in my career.
When I started teaching courses, I loved it, and I just wanted to teach more and more.
I didn't have a plan, and many women my age did not have this goal out there to get a PhD, to go on and be a professor at a college. It just sort of organically happened to me by taking the next opportunity that presented itself.
Yeah, what inspired me to go into teaching was not a pivotal moment, but rather just a gradual decision. I went to college thinking I wanted to be an engineer, and discovered in college that I really didn't love math as much as I thought I did.
Our whole junior year of Algebra 2, she spent the entire year turned around listening to me explain it to her because she didn't understand the teacher.
Corley, have you thought about the fact that since the time you were young, you have been gathering children around and teaching them?
The first teaching memory that I have is that of my like 8-year-old self teaching my 4-year-old neighbor what I had learned in class today about longitude and latitude, and he wasn't getting it, and so I like drew pictures and I tried all these different methods to teach him this idea that was way above, and in my mind not way above, his ability, and he got it. And there was this moment of like, I can do this. This is what I'm meant to do.
It was all about timing for me, because I was working another job and someone came to me and said, would you be interested in teaching a multimedia design class? I said, are you kidding me? Yes, that sounds fantastic. And I, had that little bit of fear kind of going, okay, well, I've never really taught higher education.
And one day I got a phone call from an old professor who asked if I wanted to come back and teach, and I said no, because I wanted to be a partner in the firm where I was working, and then I was going to come back and teach when I retired. And I called him back 2 hours later and I said, yes, I want to come back and teach. I'll just retire now. So I feel like I get to teach as my early retirement.
I've always strived to be that kind of a teacher that can kind of give the information and bring you along and help you along, and then kind of give you that thing that challenges and helps you leap and make that jump yourself.
And I really appreciated seeing the light bulb moments, or the times when they really started to really get what their life was about, and some pursuit of passion or purpose or something like that that they were following.
I wanted to be a teacher because it is one way for people to achieve their dreams.
The reason I went into college teaching is because of my passion for learning and my yearning for a purpose. I have engineering degrees. I could easily go into industry and run a job for however many years, or I could inspire hundreds or hopefully eventually thousands of engineers to do the same. And I feel like my purpose will be to teach as many people, to inspire as many people to find their passion. And I feel that makes the biggest impact on the world.